Welcome to the Alchemy of a Storm. I'm here with Kat.
I'm Kat. I'm based in Sweden, and I'm a narrative designer.
You work for?
I currently work at King.
Okay. And I am Delcio Gomez. I am the director of the film. We are here to announce the contest that we are doing for the 2D artwork, the art that we want to portray on the movie. So we are here to kind of like explain a little bit about the rules, explain how it's going to work. And Kat is going to be our face with you, and like, it's going to be on the forums and like helping you guys in any way, shape, or form. So Kat, can you start explaining to us like how this contest is going to work?
Yeah, absolutely. So this contest the current part that we're working on is going to come in 2 parts. But the overall premise is that because this film is meant to be a collaborative project, we want the community to participate actively in what's going to go into the film and shaping the film. So we are asking kind of the artists in our community to come together and submit artwork to us that we can then use to build the film as we go along. And there are 2 parts to this stage of the contest, of the contributions, one of which is character-based and the other of which is environment-based. So there's quite a few characters in the film, considering it's quite a short film. And the main character, Lavina, is already being worked on, but we are looking to build the rest of the cast to kind of go around her in the film. And so what we're looking for is for the artists, each artist, to submit to us designs for the entirety of the rest of the cast, to get that kind of consistent look and feel to the characters. So what we want is we want each artist to submit to us kind of 4.5 character designs. And I can go through each of those and give you a little bit of information about each of those characters if you'd like. So maybe we can start with the villain, who we're currently calling the Demon Pope.
Yes.
So this is our sort of tech tyrant character. He's this kind of obsessive, controlling character who is basically trying to zombify the world. That's kind of his main goal, I guess, in life, is to massify everyone and kind of create this very flat world where like creativity basically is completely removed from humans. And he comes in 2 forms. There's his primary form, which is this masked horned figure. And that's the version of his form that we'll see primarily in the film. That's the version of his form that we'll see interacting with Lavina and kind of in the sort of lab space. And then there's also the mysterious man form, which we'll see a kind of like a later point in the film, which is how he appears to other humans. If he's to kind of appear out in the world, it's kind of his disguised form. So yeah, if he's trying to move through the crowd, for example, that's how he would disguise himself, as a kind of mysterious man. So those are the 2 forms for him. And then we also have Uni, the unicorn, who is basically, if creativity was personified, that's who Uni is really. So Uni is a small unicorn, hasn't always been that way, but is at the point in the film where we're seeing Uni. And his physical state kind of represents that decline in creativity. So because he is creativity itself, as that gets removed from the world, he's become smaller and smaller. And actually in the script as it is so far, in his smallest form, he can fit in the palm of a hand. He's so small. And the character that goes along with Uni is the drone. And the drone is kind of this shell, basically, that protects Uni and allows him to exist in the world that Lavina is in, and kind of keeps him safe while he's in this vulnerable, reduced state. And the drone has a lot of technical parts that need to be considered. Those will all be in the brief. But we've got like a cockpit, for example, which is what you need inside, and a storm chamber and a handle for carrying it. So there's a lot of like technical parts that need to be included. And as well as that, the drone is a character, because we're going to see Lavina communicating with the drone in the world. So yeah, that's going to be a really interesting challenge, I think, creating this mechanical character who can also emote and communicate and be human almost in this world. And then finally, which I would say is almost a 0.5, is the zombies, the junkies, as we had been calling them originally, which these are the humans that have become sort of obsessed with social media and the algorithms. So they've been sucked into this virtual world. They've been sort of pulled out of the life that they live in and kind of become absorbed in this virtual world, right? And we don't have a specific kind of named character for that group. So we're actually probably looking for a whole crowd of these zombified folks. So yeah, so that for that one, we would like to have multiple designs. So the second call for submissions, basically the second contest that we have, is to help us explore the environments that are going to be in the film. So the environments are split into 2 zones, which really represent the kind of 2 main sort of dimensions of the society in the world that we're in, right? And so we would like each artist to pick one of those zones and draw multiple environments, multiple locations within that zone. And so those 2 zones are the slums, which is kind of where we start off really in the film. And this is kind of like, I would say this is kind of Lavina's turf, really. This is like where she mostly exists in this world, right? It's kind of where I guess she's almost at home, even if that's not necessarily how she might see it. And that area is kind of, in some ways, characterized by neglect. A lot of the people there don't really exist there as much as they can. Like, they try to exist as much in that social world as much as they can, social media world as much as they can, right? And so that kind of area is kind of quite contrasted by the higher area, which we'll explore in a second. But that zone has 3 main environments that we want the artists to cover. So in zone 1, we would want the artists to submit an alleyway, an apartment, a balcony, and a hallway. On the flip side of that, we have the second zone, which is where the corporations. It's where the corporations are, and that's very, very different. It's quite stark and like inhuman in a kind of minimalist, high-tech sort of way. And then in zone 2, we would want the elevator, the laboratory, and the rooftop/penthouse. That zone has, again, 3 environments. There's an elevator, there's a laboratory, and there's kind of like a rooftop penthouse area. So that needs to feel quite different from the slums. It needs to feel quite sterile in some ways, and like it's almost uninhabited, I guess, almost would be how I would think of it.
You can use whatever technique, just to jump in, you can use whatever technique you feel more comfortable with. You can use 3D, collage, you can take photos, use whatever technique. With the only thing we are trying to avoid is to use generative AI.
I guess there's 2 things we want to avoid. We use any technique that you want, but don't use generative AI. And it has to be an original work. Like, you can't draw really heavily from another artist's work. It has to be your original creation.
Any other thing on the rules? We only have one submission per person, right?
Yeah, 1 submission per person. We don't want to see any images that could be considered sort of, inflammatory or insensitive. Nothing that could be considered religiously complicated or like racial. So please be mindful of what you're submitting and designing, I would say.
We're talking about the demon pope. So the demon,
know.
but it's not about him, like, it's not a criticism on religion itself. He sees himself as a demon and a pope. So just to make it clear. So be very considerate when you're creating that character, please.
Absolutely. And probably the zombies as well. Like, I think generally speaking, let's just try to be mindful of what we're creating. And
yeah, we are actually changing, and I'm glad that you're actually saying them as zombies. We are actually right now having a poll where we're trying to figure it out. What's the name of the zombies / junkies are? We don't want to use that name. We're looking for a name, but for now, we need to start a design process for them.
So the challenge, if you're watching this video, the challenge is hopefully starting right now. And for the submission deadline and for any other details and for the whole brief, please hop into the Discord where you'll find all of the information and where we can start talking and discussing your ideas and seeing your works in progress. So hop into the Discord, start kind of talking, start showing us your work, start talking to the other artists. And, if there are any questions or there's anything you want clarified or you're not sure about, you can reach out to me. I'm Katsu Demon in the Discord. You should be able to find me. I will answer questions as best I can. And for anything that I can't answer, I will refer you on to THU or someone else on the amazing production team who will be able to answer those questions.
So now the elephant in the room, we need to talk about rewards, like what we're going to give to the community in an exchange for this amazing contest.
Yes, it's very exciting. So obviously, we want people to submit the work because it's exciting to be part of this incredible collaborative project. But we also want to be able to kind of reward people for the work that they do. So 3 winners, I suppose we can say, will be chosen from each category. So 3 for the characters and 3 for the environments. And they will be asked to basically participate even deeper in the project. So their works will be taken and kind of adapted and integrated into the film, kind of as part of the artistic process, as you sort of would in a living production. And they will be asked to be part of that process and to help shape the film going forwards. But in addition, we also have some tickets to the THU main event this year. So there will be 1 ticket each for those 3 people in each of those categories. So 3 tickets for the cast and 3 tickets for the environment, so that you can come and hang out.
And I think also it's important for us to explain that we're not looking for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. We're going to pick 3 of one category and 3 from the other category. Okay, I want people to explore and try to do, their vision for what they see on the story. But also, I think it's important that we are different from the majority of contests that I see around. We are actually trying to convey this contest to be something that is very specific and very close to real life situations, like, right, scenarios and stuff. You, for example, you work very close with that. And that's why we're kind of like trying to tailor this contest to have some limitations. We are giving very specific notes and direction, because your art is actually, you're not gonna just win the contest and be, in the void. Your work is not gonna be one-to-one. We're still gonna work on that, but your final design is going to be on the movie.
I think it is important for people to remember that it's not going to be that you submit this piece of art to us and it gets put in a frame on the wall and that's it. It's locked in time. Now it is going to become something that then is adapted and modified, like with your input and with your help, like it would be if this was a professional film that we were working on and getting paid to do. And it will be part of the film. Like, your ideas, your creativity is going to shape the film. It's not done once you've submitted it.
So I just want to explain a couple of things about the Discord submission. We are making two main channels. One is going to be where you're putting your submissions, and another one is where we are explaining everything. It's probably where you're seeing this video. It has like rules in writing. It trying to like explain everything, the questions and all this stuff. One thing that I want to say, Discord usually, if you put the first image that you put in your post, if you delete that first post, you're not going to have any image, like your image is going to be deleted. So we're going to have a post explaining exactly how you should do this, but keep in mind that the first post that you do is going to be kind of like the cover of your entire submission. So don't delete that post, okay? We're gonna show you how to change the image in the end, and you can upload the image for your final submission. So it's like the thumbnail is pretty and you have like your pretty image there. But yes, don't delete your first post. That's very important, because then you're gonna probably have to post it again in order to get a thumbnail. Second thing that I was going to say, it's not only about making the art. Of course, we want like, feel free to invite as many friends as you have. Feel free to post on other social medias, to like stream your work on other platforms. You can show this on Twitch, on YouTube Live. You can do whatever you want, as long as you're referring back to us in the end of the day. We would highly appreciate. The other thing I want to say is that this is a community project. So you also can participate just by looking at all the artwork and commenting and giving feedback, and let's keep it positive, so it's not like a toxic environment. Anything else that I forgot about the Discord? You're gonna be there helping. I'm gonna be there helping. It's gonna be messy probably in the beginning. We're still learning how to do those things, but be patient and we'll figure it out.
Right? Isn't the mess what the art is about ultimately at the end of the day? I feel like that's the best part, is the mess. That's how you get all the good stuff. So.
Yes, exactly. I'm very excited. One note for you, Kat, it's very interesting, very almost emotional to me to see me building a story, and then I tell you the story and you get the core of the story and put your little twist to it. It's very fulfilling. I can't wait to see everybody getting that story and just pushing that to like another level. I can't wait for that to happen. Okay, any final thoughts?
Let's do this. I'm excited. I want to see everyone's work. I want to see all the conversations kicking off. I want to see the feedback. I think it's going to be great. I'm really
awesome. Happy. Thank you so much, Kat. I see you guys around in the forum. Thank you. See you later.